Hello, mortals. Zach here. You may have noticed this episode is shorter than usual. As you'll see, this episode requires some critical decisions from the characters and unveils a lot of new information. Because of this, we spent a lot of time out of character discussing relevant characters, items, lore, stakes, and so on that would influence our roleplay, which is something I'm sure you've all experienced at your tables. For pacing and immersion purposes, we chose to cut most of this, which resulted in a shorter episode. But we realized if we needed a recap of the story elements, then it may be something you all need as well. So we decided to record a bonus episode where we recap the key elements of the story from episode 1 through episode 17 that you can listen to after this episode. All right, let's get to it. Hello, and welcome back to Mortals and Portals, a Pathfinder real play podcast. I am your host and GM, Zach, and joining me at the table is...
Adam, and I play Jules, an Azraketti bard.
I'm Joel, and I play Dex, a kobold rogue.
Ah, come on.
I'm Ryan, I play Ryu, a tiefling mage.
There we go.
I'm Waltz, and I play Taryn, a human champion.
Okay, no,
Thanks,
seriously,
Ryan.
every time Adam does something goofy, Joel skips it, Ryan partakes, and then Darren just does something completely random. I love it. It's like clockwork.
I feel at a
Country
disadvantage because I'm next, so I don't have any time to prepare.
Yeah, Joel
That's
just
why I
panics,
do it.
Oh, man, that's great. Cool. Yeah, well, last time on Mortals and Portals, the Digsby's crew, minus Ryu, fought
Yeah, I keep saying
Forgost.
it.
You know, after Waltz got shoved into the lair by Geldir, and then ended up hitching a ride on Forgost himself, riding him out of the cave, then back into the cave. Meanwhile, Dax and Jules ran around throwing arrows and nets, all kinds of random stuff at Forgost, hoping something would stick, because obviously the boulder didn't help you out as much as you had hoped. And
Whose fault is that, Zach?
Eventually, it ended with Jules firing Dunadast's trusty pistol with the special fire-infused ammunition at Forgost, which did a devastating amount of damage and caught him on fire and did persistent damage throughout. And eventually killed him. There's all kinds of cool heroics during that fight. And then we checked in on Ryu kind of, at the beginning and towards the end. And, he was riding into the export city known as Kuripan, which the Drake Knights used to shuttle Drake eggs to and from Nisserine. And then they put Ryu on a ship and took him out to sea. And then guess who showed up on that ship? It was Sindor, and he came below deck. Started asking about Ryu's sword to Bolgru. Bolgru didn't know anything about a sword. And Sindor split Bolgru in half, which is kind of a shame because Ryu was starting to like Bolgru, and Bolgru's a goblinoid, so we were making strides with Ryu here because they're starting to connect over their hatred of the Fangdom, and he's kind of starting to see the humanity of the members of the Fangdom, because obviously he assumed that everyone in the Fangdom is just merciless and wants to kill Erikai, and obviously Bolgru didn't agree with that and left the Fangdom. So yeah, his new pseudo-friend just got split in half by Sindor, and Ryu could sense the full might of Sindor's power, and Sindor said, "Tell me everything," and that is where we ended our session. But that's not where we're going to start our session, because, we got to make you wait for that a little bit. We're instead going to cut back to, Waltz, Dax, and Jules, who have just defeated Forgost. Waltz was revived in a way, and they're planning their next steps. So yeah, I'll kick it over to you guys.
We gotta see if Geldir's still up there.
I highly doubt he stuck around, coward.
Well, we can't just let him get away.
Yeah, and if we're lucky, Smith is still up there too, and regardless of where we choose to go, I think he'd be really helpful.
I'm with you.
Well, is there anything else we need down here before we head up?
Well, my shield's not looking too good, and I'll hold my shield up.
It's just splintered and bashed and looks like it's maybe got like a finger flick left in it before it breaks.
Yeah. Can I just do a perception check, see if I find enough things to maybe like form a repair kit?
For sure, man. Roll it.
9.
Okay. Yeah, you start looking around and you're kind of overwhelmed with the amount of items you see in this cluster of metal trinkets that Forgost was sleeping on. So you don't really see anything specific. It's almost kind of like overload, but you feel like if you spend some time sifting through there, you might find some things that would be useful to you.
Okay, yeah, I would like to just kind of start sifting and seeing if I can find something to repair my shield.
Waltz, you see if you can find something. I'll patch Jules up a little bit, and then I'll do battle medicine on Jules.
I'll look at Forgost and
There's just smoldering skeleton on the ground. His skin is just melting into his frame.
I'll replay the events that just happened and look to Dax. Dax, I honestly can't believe we're alive right now.
Dax is patching up his arm or wherever he got, hit, just patching up his wounds. And yeah, man, I can't believe Waltz is alive. I mean, leave it to Waltz to survive something like that, I don't think I could have done it.
You've got that right.
And how he remained so optimistic after that is beyond me.
I have picture he's just like whistling off in the distance, like digging through the pile of trinkets.
Yeah, we're probably both looking at him, just staring at this anomaly of a human. I'll turn back to Dax. Dax, without Ryu, I just don't see how we could even face Dasmar.
I'm with you. I mean, they say he's even more formidable than Forgost, and we barely made this. So I think you're right. I think without Ryu, there's almost no point in going forward.
I
healed you for 7, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I think it's time we formed a new plan.
I'm with you.
So Waltz, you're sifting through the pile of trinkets, and kind of over time, you're finding things that could maybe help with repairing items. Like you find a little portable anvil, just a little hammer, little tools and things like that. Maybe even like a leather pouch, stuff like that. And you're kind of putting them off to the side as you go through, and you see another steel shield that looks pretty dented up, pretty battered, but definitely in better shape than yours. And also, as you're kind of moving through the pile, you see a tower shield, which is used kind of by frontline soldiers. It definitely is heavier and will kind of slow you down, but will provide more protection as well.
All right, so Waltz will look down at both shields and understand that we got to get going pretty quickly, and I can't have any other like unnecessary weight slowing us down. So I'll pick up the steel shield and repair kit as well, and then head over to Dax and Jules.
Hey, Waltz, what happened up there?
Yeah, I guess like I said, Geldir just pushed me down. We go to push that boulder, I turn around, and there he is. He just kind of sent me down here. He did give me this, though, and I'll pull out the envelope that I got from Geldir. He said if he dies that he wants me to bring this letter to his daughter, but why would he give me this letter and then push me in and try and kill me?
No, that doesn't make any sense. What does it say?
Waltz will kind of debate in his mind why he would do that. Maybe it is for his daughter, but be even more perplexed at that thought. So after debating, he will open the letter and at least maybe read like the first line or something.
Yeah, so you kind of slide the letter out just a little bit just to read the first couple lines. And immediately you can tell it is addressed to his daughter, Elle. And even just the first line is something kind of very personal and heartfelt.
Interesting. Waltz will try not to show anybody else. Quickly put the letter back and say, listen, it's not important. We gotta find Ryu. Listen, Geldir told me that this track here leads to Kuripan, and this track here leads to Scale Keep.
Did he say what Kuripan is?
It's a town that shuttles drake eggs to and from the island. It's an export city.
I mean, do you think Ryu was taken to Scale Keep, or do you think he was taken there? I don't know why they'd take him there.
Jules will walk over towards the tunnel that leads to Kuripan and I guess just do like an investigation to see. I'm looking for like tracks and stuff.
Geldir did say that the tracks here lead to the city of Kuripan, but I don't know if he's really telling the truth. I mean, he's been lying to us a lot lately, so I don't know. He said they were going to Kuripan, and that's probably where they took Ryu, but this could be another one of his traps.
He's obviously given us little reason to trust him thus far.
We're out of our depth here, though. I don't know if we have much of a choice.
What do you think, Jules? What are you finding?
What'd you get on your check?
17.
You can tell the tracks are less than a day old, but fairly fresh.
Well, the tracks appear fairly fresh, but I suppose there's no way to know for sure.
Let me go check out the other one really quick, and then I'll jog over to the other tunnel and see if there are any tracks on that one.
Okay, roll a perception check.
Ooh, that is a 23.
Yeah, so that's a good roll. So you can kind of tell that a wagon came from that tunnel, stopped, and then you kind of, as you're gathering information, you can tell that there was some sort of scuffle. You can see the familiar trace on the ground of one of Ryu's infamous aura blasts, and the lots of footprints closing in on him, and then the signs of him being drugged towards the wagon, and then the tracks leaving towards the tunnel that leads to Kuripan.
Guys, come over here. Look at all these tracks in the mud here. There seems to have been some sort of altercation here. I mean, look right there. That's where Ryu's aura blast would have been, I think, right? What do you think, Jules? That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I'd say it appears so.
Looks like he was thrown in the wagon, and then they went down to, what'd they call it, Waltz? Was it Kuripan? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know. My money says Ryu's that way.
It looks like we've got our heading.
Fellas, the only problem I can see here is that wagon left at least a day ago, and us on foot, we're never going to catch up, right? Even if we knew where we were going, Smith can't take all of us.
That's a fair point. What are you thinking?
Listen, I guess if they took Ryu to the export city, there probably wouldn't be much reason to have him there compared to Scaled Keep unless they were going to try and take him somewhere.
Yeah, true. So I think we got to hurry. I don't think we have much time to waste if they're trying to get Ryu out of here. I think the fastest way for us to get to him is if one of us just went.
I'm looking at the ground, and I look up at the hole in the cave. It has to be me.
Why's that?
If Ryu's at a port city, if they intend to shuttle him somewhere, it'll be by boat.
That's true. And I mean, nobody knows boats better than you, Jules.
If they've already got him on a boat, the only way we can catch him is by flight. And I have been missing the sea.
Okay, Jules, why don't you take Smith? Try to catch up to Ryu. Waltz, what do you say we go to Scale Keep? We can get a head start. I mean, you guys don't know this about me. I've had a kind of a colorful past, but you know, I've had to steal a thing or two in the past, so that might come in handy when it comes to figuring out where this Arcanor is, and maybe if we can get a hold of that Arcanor, we can put a stop to these spells that are going on. Put an end to this.
And remind me again, Dax, what would getting that Arcanor do?
Well, I don't know if you remember back when we were talking to Dunadast. It sounds like the Arcanor is pretty much the key to Sindor's power. It's, as far as I understand it, it's what connects him to the Drakes. It's what makes these habitats what they are. So it seems like without that, we have a much better chance of surviving and, what's more, defeating Sindor.
Well, you haven't steered us wrong yet, Dax. So, yeah, I'm with you. Jules, you think you can handle Smith?
I think I'll manage.
All right, and if you see Geldir up there, tell him what the hell.
I'll tell him something.
Oh, I know you will, Jules.
Well, boys, good luck. And I'll reach my hand out.
I'll grab it and pull you in for a hug.
Hey, let's go.
Wait, so is it just them two hugging in the leg?
Get in
Well, it's
here,
not like a
Walt.
long
What are you
hug,
doing?
it's like
This
a
guy?
bro hug.
Waltz is awkwardly watching Dax
Read
and
the
Jules
room.
hug. Okay, can I hug too?
Yes, of course. Get in.
Dude, Waltz is totally someone that would like bear hug them.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Just squeeze the air out of us.
Waltz will walk over, set his shield down for a second, use both arms to just wrap around both of those guys, and say, good luck up there.
Waltz, I can't breathe.
Just be careful out there, Jules. Promise that we'll see you here soon.
Yes. Yes, I'll get Ryu and we'll catch up.
Yeah, get our friend back.
Be safe out there, buddy.
I'll give a little head nod and then I'll start running out of the cave.
I'm just picturing you ending a hug and sprinting away down the hallway.
I'm not sprinting. Doing a heroic jog.
Okay, so Waltz and Dax, you start to head down the tunnel towards Scale Keep. And Jules, you jog out of the cave and start ascending towards the roof of the cave up to where Waltz was when he was pushing the boulders in. And as you start to crest the hill, you do see a flustered Smith kind of stomping around in the snow. Immediately you see there's a piece of cloth hanging out of his beak that's covered in blood, and he's frantically stomping tied to a boulder. Looks very upset.
Smith, it's okay. Shh. Whoa, boy.
He does a little exhale and kind of starts to calm down, but you can still he's a little riled up. Can you roll me a command and animal check with a +2 circumstance bonus because he knows you?
All right. Okay, non-nat 20.
All right. He bows his head, and you can hear the cadence of his breathing slowing down, and he does a slow blink, and you can tell he's much more calm now that he sees you.
It's just me, boy. I'll pet him and kind of look him over to make sure he's not wounded at all. And then I'll take the cloth out of his mouth.
So as you pull the cloth out, you can instantly tell that that is a piece of Geldir's coat, and it's covered in blood. So you can quickly deduce that he had a scuffle with Geldir, and you're kind of looking around at the footprints around Smith, and you can tell maybe Geldir tried to mount Smith or attack him in some way. They had some sort of altercation, and Smith fought him off.
I see you've taken a good bite out of our friend. Well done, boy.
He sort of rubs his beak on the side of your head.
I'll untie him, take the rope off. I'll cautiously mount him.
All right. So with your non-nat 20 that you rolled earlier, and he's just happy to see you, he lets you hop right on.
All right. I'll lean forward, petting his neck, just kind of speaking closer to his ear. All right. They've gotten a good head start. We've got some catching up to do. Are you ready?
He lets out a playful shriek, lifting his front claws up in the air and stomps down on the ground and does a loud exhale and looks back at you.
I'll take that as a yes. All right. Yeah!
And Smith pushes his powerful wings downward, sending a puff of snow up in the air and ascends into the air and flies, crossing over the moonlight and starts to curve towards Kurapan. And with that, we'll cut to arms. That is going to end the session. Hooray. We'll cut to Ryu.
Ryu, get your dice.
Get your dice, Ryan. I threw them
Get
away.
your
I didn't
character
think
sheet
I'd
out.
need them anymore.
So Ryu, just to remind you, the last thing that happened was Sindor descended into the lower deck of the ship, came down there with Bolgru, questioned Bolgru about the location of your sword. Bolgru didn't know where it was, and Sindor split him in half. And remember that Bolgru, during your wagon ride, mentioned that he is loyal to Sindor. Sindor keeps him safe. He's proud to fight for Sindor. Sindor is also fighting to help the refugees on the island of Mandaru, people trying to escape the Fangdom that are trying to protect the nodes that allow him to get off world. So he is supporting a good cause, but he just killed one of his loyal soldiers. So there's just probably a lot of odd emotions within you. There's clearly a lot maybe you don't understand, like depth to the situation, but he once again displayed his ruthlessness. So any amount of compassion or understanding that you're starting to formulate towards him may have just been interrupted. Who knows? And he approached your cell and commanded that you tell him everything.
I'll likely have been sitting at this point, maybe doing some meditation during the long time at sea. I'll obviously have heard Bolgru just get murdered, but also I can no longer sense his aura, I'm assuming as well, and know that he's dead. Sindor's a very intimidating guy, and I've sensed his powerful aura before. Then it also kind of clicks into my head that he's kept me alive this whole time, and there's obviously some sort of reason for that. So Ryu sort of ends up with this confidence that kind of comes over himself, and it's always been a thing for him to just put on a tough face anyway. So I'll stand up and I'll walk over to... I'm in a cell with bars, I assume.
Yep.
I walk over to the bars and I look into Sindor's aura. Is this how you treat all your subordinates?
Only the ones that fail me.
Fail you, huh? And exactly what objective did he fail?
You did not bring your sword.
My sword. What use do you have for it?
It's not for me, Ryu. It's for you. You needed to channel ley lines, correct?
Perhaps. How do you know this?
As I alluded to in our first encounter, my allegiances are far greater than the island of Nisarine. A great deal of information has been divulged to me.
Okay, then what interest do you have in the Arakai?
It's not so much the Arakai I'm interested in. It's you, Ryu. You are the Unbound.
I don't understand.
There's a lot you wouldn't understand, Ryu. The curse makes it so.
Again, this curse? I don't know what you're talking about.
You can tell he's pondering for a moment, maybe thinking what's worth telling you, what isn't necessary, and he exhales.
Have you not wondered why the Erikai have been at war with the Fangdom for so long, yet yielded no results?
Well, it's just a matter of time.
And that time may now be coming thanks to you.
Speak plainly.
I can respect that.
He starts pacing in front of your cell. You can hear his heavy footsteps. He goes,
You and I have something in common, Ryu. Well, your people. Neither of us are from Keldora. We were cast out here during the displacement. Do you know of the displacement, Ryu?
The displacement?
I thought not. Thousands of years ago, there was an event. Many know of it. Of course, the Erikai, the recluse, know little of the happenings of Keldora. Many species, entities, from other worlds, realities, timelines, it's hard to say, were suddenly brought to Keldora. How this happened, no one truly knows, though there are many hypotheses. You and I, we are from the planet Kaijin, not of this system. Yes, I know the Erikai. I know you as Kaisetsu, though this system merely labels you elves. You're far more complicated than that.
he pauses for a moment, kind of thinking of what he wants to say next.
Surely by now, being in Pagos, you've realized that you change with the seasons, have you not?
I have heard mention of changes, but I have noticed nothing.
Regardless, the Erikai would have never realized this change, having been stranded on Desolus for so long. Again, a part of the curse, something that you have already resisted. The first indicator that you are the Unbound.
You're implying the Erikai aren't from Desolus,
Yes,
but rather from this other planet that you called, what was it?
Kaijin.
Kaijin, and that is where you are from as well.
Yes.
I still don't understand this term, the Unbound, that you keep calling me.
I wouldn't expect you to. You see, when the Erikai arrived on Desolus, they quickly found themselves at odds with the many clans of Desolus. This was before the Empire, of course, the Fangdom. It was clear that the Erikai would soon rule all of Desolus. Their power, skill was unmatched. Faramgor, surely you've heard the name?
It is in Tales of the Erikai history that Faramgor was the first emperor of the Fangdom.
Yes, finally, something you know.
He pauses for a moment.
Faramgor saw that the Erikai would soon rule Desolus and sought out the help of a rather powerful entity, the Crone of Keldora. Pray you never meet her yourself. He sold his soul to her in a way, in exchange for power, and she instilled a curse upon the Erikai, one that ensured the Fangdom would thrive while the Erikai were oppressed by its power, one that ensured you would never achieve victory. But every curse has a way of breaking.
And he continues to pace in front of you, thinking.
It appears the condition of this curse speaks of an Erikai, referenced as the Unbound, that has a dormant power and the ability to channel the power of a ley line.
That's nonsense. All powerful Erikai warriors can channel a ley line.
You would think that, wouldn't you? They use a Kenoshi, do they not?
Yes, all Erikai warriors utilize a Kenoshi, a sword that channels the power of the ley line and utilizes energy from the warrior's aura.
Precisely, Ryu. It's the Kenoshi that channels the power of the ley line, and then distributes it to the warrior. It's not the Erikai that channels the ley line, except you. Tell me what happened in your awakening ceremony.
Sindor, I don't understand why you're being so forthcoming with information, but if you think I'll provide you any, you're wrong.
Are we not on the same side, Ryu? Do you not want to see the Fangdom fall?
And you do as well?
Surely you've heard of the fight on Mandaru. Aided by the power of my drakes, we supply the refugees with the ability to resist destruction, enabling them to flee the power of the Fangdom, thus weakening it. Is that not a cause you would support?
Anything contrary to the Fangdom is something I can support. But Sindor, I find you immoral and untrustworthy.
Immoral. Well, I think the ends justify the means.
If what you say is true, and the Arakai are cursed to not be able to defeat the Fangdom, what makes you think I will be of any use?
There is but one chance to defeat the Fangdom by the Crone's curse. Well, I suppose two, but one isn't truly an option. None of us here possess the means to kill the Crone. That only leaves toppling the Fangdom, and only the Unbound can do so. Tell me, do the Fangdom know that you are no longer on Desolus?
When I left Desolus, I was fending off goblinoids. I suppose I can't say for sure whether they knew I was Arakai.
They know, Ryu. They know what an Arakai looks like, which would perhaps make you the most wanted man in all of Kaldora. You will need my protection. The Kaningo will be hunting you wherever you go.
Interesting.
It is indeed.
Good stuff, Zach. Proud of you.
The Fang knows the precise words used to construct the curse. They know the conditions under which they can be overthrown. They know there will one day be an Arakai that will leave Desolus and return to defeat them. You are surely the only Arakai to have left Desolus. Once they hear one has done so, they will stop at nothing to kill you. In fact, some of your ancient ancestors learned of the words used to construct the curse as well. Why do you think the awakening ceremony came to be?
So, Cinder, your plan is to use me, what you call the Unbound, to fight against the Fangdom and end the curse over the Arakai?
Yes, though my goal is not simply to end the curse, but end the Fangdom's rule.
And what do you stand to gain from toppling the Fangdom?
Ryu, you haven't proven yourself trustworthy enough for me to divulge my interests, though trust me when I say it is for the betterment of Kaldora.
I'm trying to think at what point that Ryu has against Sindor right now.
Maybe nothing, bro.
Yeah, why wouldn't you join, right?
Yeah, we came here and
Drake Knights killed Digsby.
yeah, but our stuff with the Drake Knights was more just by happenstance almost that we ended up in a feud with them, you know?
Yeah, man, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe you guys just got it all wrong. God, I hate this. I do not envy you at all, Ryu.
I'm just gonna ponder everything that Sindor has told me right now.
Ryu, think all of the lives lost in your fight against the Fangdom. You could put an end to it.
Yeah, it's tough. Ryu's had a very tough history with the Fangdom. His dad was killed by the Fangdom. Arakai been fighting Fangdom since forever, as long as he's ever known. Sindor's making good points at this point. I feel like I don't have anything hugely against him. All our issues and things that have happened with the Drake have just been because of, we were protecting Digsby at a time, and then since then we've kind of been against the Drake. But Ryu's goals lie beyond what's going on in Nisrine right now. Ultimately, he still wants to get back to the Arakai and avenge his father, get back at the Fangdom, do what he was born to do, be an Arakai warrior. But I just think Ryu doesn't have an answer right now. I myself am still contemplating everything that's being said right now.
Ryu, you failed your awakening. You were not prepared to channel the power of a ley line directly. This is something I have done myself when filling the Arcanor with the ley line's power. I can teach you how to do it. Of course, we will need your sword. It is a conduit of the power, something that can diminish the effects on your body. But we need to find another ley line. Are you ready to try again?
I'll look down, contemplating once again, raise my head. First things first, I'll need my sword.
Oh.
Sindor nods.
Very well.
And he drops to a knee. You hear his knee thud on the ground. He's panting. Ryu, you sense his aura plummet in terms of power, being cut roughly by a fourth. Just the overall magical energy that resonates from him. And you hear him raise back to his feet, kind of the sound of splintering wood as his knees crack, and he stands upright.
They've killed Forgast.
I may not understand much, Sindor, but one thing I do know. You certainly do underestimate those you believe to be weaker than you.
I definitely underestimated them, but I assure you, they are far weaker than me. I will retrieve your sword. I will kill what remains of Digby's crew, and I will return. We'll find a ley line, put an end to the Fangdom once and for all.
And he starts to turn, and you hear him call out,
Drake Knight. Yes, sir.
and you hear a door open and some feet come down the stairs.
Watch over our guests.
And you hear his heavy feet ascend the stairwell, and the door close behind him. And you hear the sound of a Drake Knight moving a chair and sitting down and watching over you.
With everything that Sindor just told me and all the good points that he was making, after hearing him say that he is going to go finish off Digsby's crew, I do feel a pit in my stomach after hearing that, and I smirk to myself slightly, thinking about my pride in my comrades having defeated Forgast, and I lose the smirk immediately.
And that is where we'll end our
my
session.
Oh,
With Ryu teaming up with the guy who's going to kill Digsby's crew. Woohoo.
I'm
I don't wanna
stressed.
have to kill you.
This is not how I wanted to
But I
come
will.
Hey,
Ryan,
you know what?
you got to play so much.
Hey guys, can I just say
Can
something
we
real
talk
quick?
about everything right
Hey
now?
guys, can I just
Can we
say
talk
something
about
real
it
quick?
right
Can I
now?
just say something
Zach
real quick?
wanted to say
Can I
something.
just say
Yeah,
something?
what is
Go
it,
ahead.
Zach?
Yeah,
Yeah, what is it, Zach?
Yeah, I can't
Go,
wait to
Zach.
hear.
Yeah, what is
Shut
that?
Oh,
okay.
everybody, shut up.
You
Because we're
got
going to
it.
talk
Great.
about that in the downtime. And the downtime is for patrons, where we react to the most recent episode. And this is where we're going to dive into what Ryan was thinking when he's trying to align with Sindor, the guy he knows to be evil, but has the same motives as him and is maybe going to kill his friends and all that stuff. That's where we're going to just really get into it. So if you want to hear that, you should become a patron. And then also, if you're a
gonna be a good
patron, you
one.
can hang out with us in the Discord and we can talk to you all the time and just send each other memes. It's a good time. So I suggest you do that. And hey, can I ask you guys a favor as listeners? If you have been listening to our podcast and you're on episode 17, and you haven't given us a rating yet, could you please do so? Even if you hate us and you're I've been listening for 17 episodes and I hate you, give us a rating. Please, but actually don't do that. You should give us a 5-star rating.
bad
because
advice.
I still do that.
Do what you gotta do. You know?
Someone will do that just to be funny, I'm gonna give you 1 star. No, please don't do that, because that actually hurt our feelings and hurt us in the algorithm. So if you want to help us out in our fight against the algorithm, which is a level 20 monster, you should give us a 5-star review, and we would really appreciate that. We see all of them. We literally text each other in excitement when we get more reviews. And if you write a review, we get even more excited. So if you're on Apple Podcasts, please write us a review. If you're on Podcast Addict, which we know there's a lot of listeners on Podcast Addict, I haven't seen a single review yet. So if you're listening on Podcast Addict, please give us a review, because that would really help us out. So thank you for doing that and making our day. And I want to thank the listeners for listening to us, because without you, we're not a podcast. We're just a bunch of weirdos with a mic, recording ourselves and editing episodes. So thank you for making us not crazy and being a part of this community. We really appreciate it. We love you. And I want to thank, let's pick a random order. Let's go with Adam. Adam, I want to thank you for all of your awesome,
that's me.
incredible artwork, man. All of the episode graphics that we're spamming Reddit with, Adam does those. All of the character portraits that you see on our Instagram and was posted on our Reddit and all that stuff, Adam does those. All of the cover photos that you see on YouTube, Patreon. Is there a cover photo on Instagram? I don't think so. YouTube, Adam does those. All of the renders for the audio backgrounds on YouTube with that flares and shows all the pictures and all that stuff, Adam does those. All the session sketches that happen every week that you guys get to vote on and tell us what
Adam
part of the
does those,
sketch you want
right?
to sketch. Yeah, that's right.
No,
Taryn.
that's
Adam
actually
does those.
Fiverr.
Oh, no, that was Fiverr. That one's AI. It's AI. Yeah, that's the only one that we use AI for. Yeah. All the profile pictures, all of the merchandise that's coming soon, if it's not out already, I don't know. Adam does those. So yeah, Adam's just crunching it, man. He's just going hard. So thank you,
a lot of
Adam,
stuff.
for doing that.
Thank you.
Because I
I
can't
love
even
you, Adam.
imagine how
love you guys.
bad our like social media presence and just like overall professionalism would be if we didn't have Adam in our group. So thank you, Adam,
Aw.
for doing that. That's
I'm
awesome.
going to
Adam.
bed with a big smile
Yeah,
tonight.
super great. And
No, we got one
let's
more
go
episode to record,
with,
Adam. Don't go to bed yet.
Ryan, hold on, Joel. Joel, I'm gonna thank Ryan now, who does all of our original music. That's right, I said original. We don't drop in any license-free music. It's all Ryan.
Not
Ryan
today.
does it all, man. So he like listens to the episode. And he's like, you know what? This would be a good scene. I want to like enhance the emotion in it. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna just write something beautiful,
Trumpets,
some kind of
bam.
one-off custom thing, like Geldir pushing Waltz into the pit. He like, you know what? I'm gonna do a sweet build-up and a cool pause and just make this moment hit hard. That's all Ryan. So whenever like you get those goosebumps or some moment just like is incredible, that's probably Ryan enhancing it with the music. Thank you, Ryan, for coming home from work and sitting down and busting out custom tunes. And
Yup.
I want to thank you. Yeah, like I waited to the end. Yup. And I want to thank Joel,
our
who
thing.
does all of our editing for vocals. And I'm not kidding. This dude has more going on in his life than
not
editing
kidding.
vocals for a podcast. Yet he still carves out time to edit vocals for a podcast. And when you listen to
Crazy.
it, you probably don't even notice. You're like, wow, this episode sounds really good. But it doesn't even like register in your mind. That's because a person cut out all of our throat clearing sounds, all of our sniffles, coughs, all of our sidebar conversations, all of our mouse clicks, all of our taking drinks and setting things down on the table.
Except for the
That
fart
is-
that got left in the last episode,
Was there a
which
fart
I
in the
hope
last
is still
episode?
in there. Yeah,
Well,
he texted us
Taryn
about
said
it.
he literally tries to fart as hard as possible so the mic picks it up.
Yeah,
some
and I
parts
heard
might
it
make
after
it
his
through.
point out.
I don't know.
I died laughing.
Someone's gonna go back to the last episode like, I missed the fart. I want to hear the fart. You know? Yeah,
Leave
go
it
read
at
that
that.
last
Episode's gonna have
episode.
the most listens out of any
Maybe
episode.
we should put a hidden fart
There
in
it
every
is.
episode.
Yeah, hidden
There's
fart.
the fart. Every episode has one fart. If you can find them all, good for you. Yeah, so that's Joel. That's Joel
That's
staying
true.
up late. That's just Joel grinding it out. Thank you, Joel. And I want to
You
thank
bet.
Taryn,
I love you, Joel.
who does all of our sound effects for the episode, which I'm sure you've noticed have been getting like more and more expansive because Taryn keeps doing a great job, and then he keeps like raising the bar and raising our expectations. So like I'll describe a sound, I'm like, yo, Taryn, I didn't hear a sound in there. Like you put a sound in there. So Taryn's just like putting sounds in constantly and enhancing your experience, just making this theater of the mind go to the next level. So he's doing it all for you guys. He wants you guys to feel like you're in these scenarios that I'm describing. That's Taryn. He's like, I'm gonna bring you into this. I want to bring you into Digsy's crew. So great job, Taryn. Thank you for listening to like whenever it's like, hey, someone's bones crunched. Taryn has to listen to like 100 gross sounds of like bones crunching and like blood splurting until he finds one that isn't disgusting that you guys can listen to that doesn't gross you out. So
Until he
Taryn's
decides to just make
suffering.
the bone crushing sound himself.
Yeah. Until Taryn just goes out and crushes his own bone. He's literally breaking his own bones for this podcast. If that doesn't make you want to become a
This
patron
must be
and
easier.
support Taryn's medical bills, then I don't know what would make you want to become a patron. So yeah, thank you, Taryn, for doing that. And again, like we're all these people, they're coming home from the end of the day after like working and like taking care of kids and like all kinds of family stuff, and they're like, let's just bust out a good podcast for you guys. So like, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I
So
say
please
something?
give us a good review. We would love that. That would
Can I-
really help us out.
can I
Tell your
can I
friends.
say
Tell your
one
friends
thing?
about us too. What's up,
Can I
Taryn?
say one thing, Zach?
Yeah.
Thanks Zach for freaking creating
Oh,
this
yeah,
giant story,
Zach.
dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah.
never thank Zach, but dude, this is a fun. We'll talk about it more, but like the story when you kind of unravel it is a lot of fun. So thank you for putting so much effort into this, dude.
Thanks,
Yeah,
bro.
we would not be here if it
ChatGPT is
weren't for
great,
you.
man. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
And I just like to say thank you, Zach.
Thanks, Ryan.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, here we
Go
go.
on.
Gosh. And this is why the episode will be 10 minutes longer. Okay.
Go ahead, Ryan.
And if I could just
Adam?
interrupt
go ahead,
Ryan,
Adam.
I'd
Go ahead,
just like
Adam.
to say thanks, Zach.
You're welcome.
That's actually what I was gonna say too. So
Oh,
You already did say it,
That's all right.
actually.
Ready?
yeah, it
1,
sounded like people wanted
2,
me to say
3.
it again.
Thank you, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
I just want to say thank you, Zach. So,
All right.
All right. Cool. And thanks again, listener. We are so appreciative. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for being part of this community. Also, post on our Reddit. Just post on our Reddit, please. I don't care what it
Just
is.
say
post it.
hi. Just the word
Every time
hi.
I see a Reddit post, I'm like, sick. I want to check this out. So do it.
I'll say hi
If you're
back.
still-
You'll know
if
it's
you're
me.
still listening. Also, if you're listening on YouTube, comment.
Nobody's
There's a guy-
listening anymore.
No one's
Say, if
listening
you're
anymore.
still here, what are you doing?
I don't care what it is. Comment.
Go live your life.
Makes me happy every time.
Half of this episode has been the outro.
This is where the secret fart is going. So
The
if you made it
outro's gonna
this
run
far,
out. Like there won't be
Congrats.
any more
Outside,
outros.
catch a
just me
butterfly.
talking. Yeah, we're at outro. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And also, there's a blooper at the end. Stay tuned. Cool. We'll see you next time, mortals.
There it was. That's the fart.
And with that, we'll cut to arms. That is going to end the session.
Hooray.
We'll cut to Ryu. I'm going to go pee real quick. So we're not actually cutting Ryu. Let me pee.
Ryu, get your dice.
Get your dice, Ryan. I threw them
Get your
away. I didn't
character
think
sheet
I'd
out.
need them anymore.
What has Ryu been up to, huh? What's
I
he
love
been
how
doing?
it's your turn finally, and Zach just got up and left.
I want my own spin-off series for what happened while I was on the cart.
Create your own
Zach's
theme music.
Yeah.
Zach's going
Who's
to come
that
back and be like,
guy?
all right, we'll cut back to Waltz and Dax.
It's Ryu.